Goodbye, darlings, or rather, hello and welcome to Goodbye, Darlings, the podcast where I talk about things I want to say goodbye to, things that unequivocally tick me off. And today, we're talking about podcasts.
Hey man, how the hell you doing? I've been just fine living life with the news
And you might be wondering, Izzy, Izumi, whatever you call me, why are we talking about podcasts ticking you off when this is a podcast? Hold on. Not only did I just think that that would be a really funny first episode title for a podcast about finding things annoying, but I also just thought that I have enough to talk about that I think that it would make a substantial episode. So first and foremost, let's set the timer for 40 minutes, shall we? Set a timer for 40 minutes. Now, where were we? Hi. Welcome to my podcast. I'm going to be talking about things I want to say goodbye to. That's kind of the whole premise of the podcast. I'm going to be talking about... Siri is still listening to me. Okay, there we go. I want to talk about... I want to talk about things that I want to say goodbye to. I want to talk about things that tick me off. I want to talk about LGBT issues. I want to talk about general things, right? Creativity stuff. Content creation stuff, YouTube stuff in general, right? But for the first episode, I'm mainly going to be introducing what this podcast is going to be. But also I want to talk about some of the things that tick me off in other people's podcasts that I will not be doing in this podcast. At least I will try my best not to. I don't know. We'll find out with time, I guess. So, welcome. A little bit of a, what is this podcast, what to expect. So basically, this podcast originally was the Magic Girl podcast. It has been revamped, reworked. If you don't know what the Magic Girl podcast was, it basically was a Patreon exclusive podcast that I had. I really wanted to rework it. I really wanted to make it fresh and new and more exciting and more publicly available. I didn't want it behind a paywall as much anymore. I not only changed because it was a $25 tier on my Patreon that unlocked this podcast. I felt like that wasn't fair. I marked it down quite a bit. So you don't have to pay as much to unlock this perk. But also, this perk, you're probably watching this on YouTube or listening to this on Spotify. Who knows? But basically, I wanted to make it a little bit more easily accessible. So I wanted to make it public. But how I'm doing that is I'm going to have the regular 45-minute, roughly long episode publicly available. And then if you want extended cut, which is an hour and a half, so almost double the amount of content, you can go over to my Patreon and pay $15 and you'll get extended cuts of the podcast that are completely ad-free as well as ad-read free. I do want there to be ad reads in this podcast for the public version. That is a goal of mine. For this first episode, we're going to be going ad-free just because I don't have a sponsor for this video. I've gotten reached out to by actually quite a few sponsors. But all of them feel very sketchy, and I'm not going to subject you guys to that. So I'm waiting to hear from someone that feels legitimate, as well as is willing to pay what I see as fair, because I'm not going to just willy-nilly accept any and all sponsorships. And that's actually my first pet peeve of podcasts. I hate when podcasts, listen, get your bag. Get that shmoney. Whatever you need to do you, right? Well, whatever you need to do to make ends meet, right? Make that shmoney. But it really does bug me. Like, it shouldn't bug me this much. But it really does bug me when you can tell podcasts just don't care about the ads they're reading. I see this a lot with, like, gambling ads. Y'all, why are we promoting gambling? Apparently they pay really well. That's why we're promoting gambling. Apparently, like, the gambling apps, the gambling websites, those pay, like, exponentially well because they know people don't want to take the sponsors, and so they're trying to sweeten the deal. And also they make a lot of money because it's gambling, so obviously they have the money to pay the content creators like even more than normal ads would be able to pay them. So that's interesting. You will never see a gambling ad on this podcast. I in my good conscience could never promote something like that to you guys. I no. No. I would much rather take ads from like Raycon. Hey Raycon, or like I don't know. Oh, or like what's that? A book of the month club? Guys, I'm an author. Jingle jangle jingle jangle. I have a lot of LGBT readers in my subscribers. Jingle jangle jingle jangle. I'm giving them free promotion just by saying their name. Guys, you guys should pay me though. They're not going to pay me. Well, maybe they will. Maybe one day. Also, let me know if you have a drinky. I have a drinky. I have a protein chocolate coffee, which if you did not know is basically just a chocolate protein shake, coffee, whipped cream, sugar, protein powder. Mix it up. Well, I don't mix the whipped cream in. I said that in the wrong order. You understand it though, right? You get me. You understand what I mean. Surely you do. So, what else ticks me off about podcasts, you might be asking? The biggest one is when they do ad reads that are obvious cash grabs or obvious scams. Oh my god. The amount of scam ads in some of the podcasts I have. Oh, this is a big pet peeve of mine. When the ad read's not even done by the creator, I know that's probably something that the company says needs to happen, and they're like, we'll just send you this and you put it in. That's just an ad. That's not an ad read. That's just an ad that I am now having to listen to or skip through. Now, another. When ads go for too long. Okay, listen. A lot of the time when you're reached out for ad reads, it's like they give you like, it's like a 30-second ad read, minute ad read, whatever they're paying you for, right? If you have like a minute and a half ad read and you do 4 of them back to back, girl, that's a little much. I say cap it at 2 ad reads per ad break, honestly, and cap it to 2 breaks per podcast episode. I say that and imagine like a year from now, I'm just like so money hungry and I'm like, I'm making a lot of money from this. I'm gonna do 5 ad reads. Please, if I do that, like yell at me. Like yell at me. Like actually bully me into not doing that anymore, please. Because I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that girl. I don't want to be that person to do that kind of thing. I don't know, man. It just scares me. The inevitability of money hungriness. It's not inevitable. But, like, it happens so often with content creators. I really don't want to be one of them. Okay. I want to be one of those content creators that, like, people look and they're like, wow, they're so humble. Guys, I want to be that, okay? So bully me if I stop being humble. It's the only logical option. Bully me until I'm humble again. Now, not appearance-wise. I will always be humble with how I look. I might act confident, but I don't feel that way, actually. It's a front. It's a front to make me feel better, right? But if I ever get, like, not humble about, like, money or, like, fame, slap me upside the face metaphorically and bully me just a little bit. Listen, I am anti-bully. I hate bullies. Bullies are annoying. That's its own episode, right? But trust me, darling. Trust me, darling. When I say sometimes it's for the greater good, okay? Only when, now here's my idea, okay? Don't clip that out of context and then cancel me, please, okay? Only when you're bullying someone who's being a dick. it's only okay to bully someone. It's never okay to bully someone. It's only okay to bully someone when they are a bully themselves, when they are being an awful person, okay? Okay. Don't actually ever bully someone unless it's me and I'm consenting to it, aka bully me if I'm not humble. Thank you. I don't think I'm not humble. Am I not humble now? Now I'm going to spiral. See, this is my problem. See, this is my problem that I have. I spiral when I think of becoming not humble one day. So many podcasters make so much money, dog. I don't think you guys realize how much money podcasts make. Now, this is me wanting to be in financial freedom. This is me wanting to make money to be able to support my family. This is me wanting to repay the kindness that my family, friends, loved ones in general paid to me. Oh god, the lighting just changed so much. I'm so sorry. Can you even see me? I can't tell. This is a camera that I don't typically use for long form content. I normally vlog with this camera, and so we'll see how the lighting does. I might need to set up professional lighting rather than using my window. I use my window normally for vlogs. Do you know I have a vlogging channel? That's today's sponsor. That's today's sponsor, but more about that later. I, how you say, feel, what was I saying? Vlog, you can't see me. What was I saying before that? Oh my god, that's gonna bother me so much. Guys, a little bit about me. If you're new to the channel, I am an ADHD girly. I am diagnosed ADHD, but also probably ADHD. I'm not diagnosed though, so I'm not gonna claim that and then belittle belittle anyone's struggles or journey with it, obviously. But also, it's expensive to get diagnosed. And I don't have that type of money right now. I don't have money for therapy. Okay. I've had to go in the past, but like, I don't have money for consistent therapy. So like, that's what this podcast is for. To repay the people that helped me along my journey. And also, to be able to spoil the people I love. Genuinely, that's why I want money. To live comfortably. And then to be able to spend it on my friends and family. Truly. One of my biggest love language is gift giving. I'm not as much a gift taker. Is that the word? I don't think so. I'm not as much as like a receiving gifts love language type of person. I'm way more of a acts of service, words of affirmation, and physical touch type of girly. I want hugs, cuddles. I also want you to tell me you love me, okay? And that I'm special and I'm important, that you're proud of me, okay? And then the cherry on top is if you do something nice for me, like cooking me a meal or cleaning for me. I want a housewife, okay? I'm joking, okay? I am enfianced. Okay, thank you. If you didn't know, yeah, I'm engaged. I've been with my current partner in crime for, maybe I'll have him on the podcast one day. Who knows? I've been with my current partner in crime for about 6 years. We're coming up on 6 years, I believe, and we're engaged. We're not rushing the wedding or anything. We're very young. I'm 21. He's 21. We're just engaged because look at this pretty ring he found, and he wanted to give it to me, and we know we want to be together. So that's that. Maybe I'll have like a Minecraft wedding. Is that cringy? Well, we don't use that word in this household, okay? We don't call ourselves or others cringy unless it's a joke completely. Okay? Cringe culture is canceled. Cringe culture annoys me. I actually have that on my list. Guys, I have so many I have so many things that annoy me. I didn't even know. I have so many things on my list of like episode ideas. One of which being bi erasure, by the way, because I feel like, goodbye, darling, we gotta have an episode on bi erasure, because that's just, it's the stupidest homophobic fucking bullshit. That's right. I said the F word and also bullshit. Okay? Can you handle that? Thank you. When it comes to bi erasure, I hold back none at all. Okay? I just, it hurts. Like, sometimes I feel worried to say that I am with a man because I'm worried people will think I'm straight. And it's like, no, I am bisexual. I would just as easily marry a woman as I would a man, or someone that's not non-binary, as much as I would marry a woman or a man. I am sexually attracted to everyone. I'm sexually and romantically attracted to men, women, and everything in between, okay? Is that pan? I like the label bi, because I think it's 2 or more genders, right? Pan, I don't know the full definition of. Please inform me in the comments. I want to know. At one point I did think, like, am I pan then? I don't know. I've just gone with bi for so long that it feels what's right for me. And I think that's all that label should be. It should be what makes you feel the most comfortable and what makes you feel the most, I guess, like, am I in focus? Is this in focus instead of me? Oh my god, hold on, this is loud. I'm sorry. I feel like that's probably better. Is that better? We'll find out. This is a trial episode as well, by the way. Next episode will be much better, because I'll have known what to do better next time. So bear with me, please, while I adjust to being a podcaster, okay? I have a podcast with my best friend. It's currently on hiatus. We did it for like a long time though. We did it for months and months and months. I think we did it for almost a year, posting every single week. I think we missed 1 week total, which was crazy. So that was fun. We're gonna continue. We're gonna continue. Don't worry. If anyone is like, wait, I really like that podcast, is it over? It's just on hiatus. We want to do a season 2 like revamp, because we did it for a full year and that was kind of the idea, and then we were gonna rework what we were doing to see if we could make it better and stuff like that. So that's what we're doing basically. But yeah, no, this is just me. I'm not used to podcasting by myself. So as much as I may have podcasting experience, I don't really have podcasting experience solo on camera. Be it that the Magical podcast was mainly no camera. Occasionally I'd film the camera, but it kind of just fizzled out into not being on camera, to be completely frank with you. But this is on camera with my microphone. And also, it's like more of a theme. I'm also not used to that. So this will get better and better with time. Do trust. I'm going to have guests on eventually. I actually have a list of like dream guests that are like, I feel like attainable with time. Not necessarily attainable right now, but are maybe attainable with time. Like there's this bisexual author I love, Piper CJ. 2 of her books are actually right here on my bookshelf behind me. And another one of her books is down there. Yeah. Crazy. I know. She's on my like dream guest list. I feel like she'd be really nice to have on the podcast. I want this podcast, as much as I'm talking about like things I don't like what the idea is, if I had a guest on, there we go. We got it out eventually. If I had a guest on, or when I have guests on, I'm going to brainstorm with them prior and kind of find a topic that they want to vent about, that they want to rant about, in a funny way, of course. I never want this podcast to be like me just ranting into a microphone, endlessly with no real like rhyme or reason. I want it to way more be like a funny, goofy time of me talking about things that really aren't that serious but annoy me. Occasionally we'll talk about more serious things. Like I have bi erasure on the list as one, as I already mentioned to you guys. I also like want to talk about AI and the effects of that on content creation, writing, voice acting, all things I do. Oh, hello. We have a beanie here. Say hello, Raven. Raven is now on camera for audio listeners. This episode is sponsored by my vlogging channel. Yes, that is right. We are doing an ad read this episode, but it's for my vlogging channel. So, are you really going to complain? On my vlogging channel, Izzy Annalisa, I talk about writing my debut novel, as well as being a creative in general, being a nerd in general, and about books I love. The main thing I do on that channel is writing related content. So if you find writing related content at all interesting, please make sure to check it out. I will have a link down in the description below. We have a super fun time over there, and I would love to have you a part of that. And without further ado, back to the podcast. See how quick to the point that ad read was? See how demure that ad read was? See how non-pushy but also informing that ad read was? Let me know notes, because I've never done ad reads before. Never been sponsored, never done ad reads. But there will be some in the future. I do intend on one day down the line having this, this podcast have ad reads. Not too many. As we've stated, my pet peeves with podcasts. Not too many, but just enough, I feel like. Just enough that I make some nice money from it. Enough to reinvest in the channel and maybe have this be more of my income. I do a lot of freelance stuff right now to make ends meet, and I make enough to live, but without my partner, I could not. We bought a house. That was mainly him, to be so genuine. Now, I will say, I could pay all the bills, but saving up for a down payment, saving up for renovations, that is him. This is how we do 50-50. It's different for everyone, and you should never compare yourself to other people unless you think that it might work for you. Then you try it and then take what you want, leave what you don't. What we do to be 50-50 is we do 50-50 pretty much with any purchase. He mainly pays for food. I pay for bills a lot of the time. He saves up for renovations and for big expenses. And then he puts a lot in his savings, which he's a really good saver. I gotta give him that. And that's kind of how we split things, because then it's not all on one person, and we kind of break it back down quarter by quarter, right? We kind of play it by ear based on what finances are looking like and what we need help with, what we might need to work on. But I make enough for what I do. But I could not do what I do without him. I would have to get a regular job or work a lot harder on my freelance stuff. But the goal is, through this podcast, as well as, the ad reads on it, as well as the community support, you guys going over to the Patreon. If you do want the extended content, there's absolutely no pressure. But if you would like to do that, this episode, I guess, is also sponsored by that. I guess. Oh, yeah, when I don't have an ad read, I can just shout out the Patreon, I guess. This episode is also sponsored by my Patreon. My Patreon has multiple tiers with many different perks. If you become a patron, you then gain access permanently to my Discord server, which is a Patreon exclusive Discord server. We do game nights, movie nights, and just generally chat over there. You would also get an 1.5-hour cut of this podcast, as well as all of my audio role plays completely ad-free, early access to all those ad-free audios, shout-outs in every publicly posted audio, and 2 semi-spicy audios a month. If that is something that you are interested in, make sure to click the link down in the description or go to patreon.com/izumiaudio. That's patreon.com/izumiaudio. Make sure to read what your tier offers to make sure you're getting all the perks that you want. And without further ado, back to the podcast. See how I did that ad read? Very demure, very mindful. I think that was good. Give me your notes, though. This is me needing, notes. And that would be all of the ad reads. I'd do 2, and that would be it, right? I feel like that'd be a good amount. And then if you're over on Patreon, then you don't get any ad reads. That's not going to make sense at all when I do this episode. Should I just leave the ad reads in for this episode? Because they're funny ad reads and they're not actually ad reads. But I said that it's going to be ad free. Is it an ad if I'm just talking about my own thing? like in the future, I could do an ad read for my own book. Like, I'm working on a book right now. It is a sapphic vampire fantasy, urban fantasy, YA book. And I could do an ad read for that when that comes out, right? I'm about a little under halfway through that book right now, and I really like it so far. I also do writing sprints, by the way, over on the writing channel, which are super fun. So you should come join if you like that kind of stuff. They're basically like, we set a timer and then like it lasts however long that timer is for you to like do something productive. So I will write, and a lot of people in chat write, but you can clean your room, read, do your homework if you're in like college or something, or if you're in high school or whatever grade you're in, or you can like study or practice something you've been wanting to practice, or like something along those lines, right? But the idea is to all kind of be productive together, kind of how like a body double type thing. As an ADHD girly, that helps me a lot personally. As an ADHD girly, I'll say ADHD girly because that's what I definitively am. I'm just like, I'm 80% sure I'm ADHD. What are your guys' opinions on people saying, I'm pretty sure I have XYZ when they've done sufficient research? I'm not talking about people that self-diagnose because they saw one TikTok. I'm talking about people who, like, they've been researching this for years and they're like, okay, I think I might be ADHD, OCD, have anxiety. I think I might have autism, like that kind of stuff. How do you guys feel about that? Because I have kind of mixed emotions about it, because I never want someone's self-diagnosis to make it like blurred on what people with a definitive diagnosis might need. And I don't want anyone to use their own self-diagnosis as an excuse why people with a genuine like doctor diagnosis like writing off why they shouldn't complain about XYZ because I don't complain about XYZ because I am also blah, blah, blah. Like, I obviously, like, that makes me feel really ticked off. But I also, like, as someone who has done research for years on this stuff, I also have a lot of family members with autism. It feels much more like I'm not just like pulling it out of my ass and I'm like, I think I'm autistic. It's like, oh, I've seen patterns that are happening again and again and again that a lot of people associate with autism. Interesting. I might be autistic. Let's research that. And then doing a lot of research and then taking tests online and then it coming back that I'm autistic. Like, what do you guys think about, like, where do you draw the line and how do you differentiate a self-diagnosis from like, okay, I pretty much am certain, but I don't have a doctor saying that I am. Does that make sense? Let me know what you guys think. As much as this is me complaining about things, this is a judge-free space, genuinely. This is a safe space for anyone. As long as you are also being kind to other people, there's no like judgment. If you guys are way more like no self-diagnosing at all, or if you guys are more like I think it's totally fine, just let me know. But yeah, no, I'm definitively ADHD, so I should just say ADHD girly until I get a proper diagnosis. But I don't even know if I want to get a proper diagnosis because I've already used a lot of the things that help me navigate life that ADHD people do and have recommended to me, that like I don't know if having a physical diagnosis would help. I also know that ADHD medication doesn't work on me. It does not help me. It makes me feel really like foggy in my brain, and I think that well, I've heard a lot of people with ADHD, they also have that experience with ADHD medication because they also are autistic. They're not just ADHD. So I'm curious if that is the case or not, for me as well. But anyways, back to what ticks me off about podcasts. again, this is mainly me just introducing the podcast and kind of giving you a taste of what is to come. This podcast, by the way, will be coming out every month on the 5th. This episode is different. This episode will be coming out sooner than that, but from here on, they'll be coming out every month on the 5th. On the 5th at like probably noon EST is probably what we'll do. But I will say, if this podcast does well, if you guys really like this podcast and it's more of a viable thing for me to spend more time on rather than audios on the channel stuff, I will start doing it more often. It all is dependent on the reception of the podcast. If this only gets a couple hundred views, then that doesn't warrant me spending a bunch of time on it, right? Where if this gets thousands of views, or fingers crossed, tens of thousands of views, then that's a different story. Then that is way more substantial for me to be able to spend more time on it and get sponsors and do things that kind of better help me being able to do this more frequently. Hiring an editor maybe for it would be awesome. I am the type of person that cannot hire editors typically, but when it comes to podcasts, I think that would be fine. I think that I'd be able to do that perfectly fine, because there's not as much creative wiggle room with podcast editing as there is editing a vlog or editing a audio or something like that, where like I probably going into the vlog or the audio have some sort of idea what I want it to be like, where with this it's like, okay, I'm talking into a mic for 45 minutes and then an hour and a half for the other version, you know? And so I think hiring an editor would actually be very nice. If there's any editors out there who are interested, hit me up. My business email is on my YouTube page. If there's any companies out there that want to sponsor, also hit me up. Now, what's another thing that annoys me about podcasts? The main thing is the ad reads. Oh, okay. Hold on. One of the things that annoys me about podcasts is when people have visual podcasts. So if they have like a visual with it, and this is not as big of a deal to me, but it still annoys me a little bit. When people have visual things in their podcast and they don't explain it to the viewers that it's a visual thing, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Like I love when a podcast goes, for the audio listeners out there, this is what just happened. I typically watch podcasts, but there's sometimes when I'm cleaning, I'm not looking at my phone and I don't know why they're laughing. And it irritates me because I'm like, guys, why are you on Spotify if you're not also an audio experience? You know? Ugh, that actually does annoy me. That's actually kind of crazy that annoys me so much. I didn't think that annoyed me as much as it did. And then I said it and I was like, oh, yeah, that actually pisses me off quite a bit. But that's the point of the podcast, isn't it? To talk about the things that annoy me, that I would rather not happen in podcasts. Tonight I am doing family dinner night with my family. We do it pretty much every Wednesday, which love that for us. Wednesday nights be wildin' with my immediate family. My immediate family and I get along pretty well, which we love that. We love that. I only have 20% left on my camera. We have 4 minutes. I can last 4 minutes, right? That camera can last 4 minutes. Because what I'm going to do is that's the 40-minute mark. And then once we hit the 40-minute mark, I'm going to stop this, charge my camera for a hot second, and then keep going for the extra, what would that be? 20 plus 30? 50 minutes for the extra 50 minutes. It is over double the content if you go over to Patreon. Jesus, I did not think that was the case. But hey, I'll take it. I think that's your money's worth, I feel like. over double the content. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm cheating anyone out of it, you know? I don't want to feel like money hungry. Again, bully me if I get money hungry. I don't want to be money hungry. Oh God, it's going down so much quicker than it normally does. Guys, what's happening? Well, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to wrap up yet, actually. I have like milk on my desk. This isn't milk, right? What is this? I don't have milk anywhere. Not me sniffing my hand. That was gross. For audio listeners, I just wiped my desk off with my hand and sniffed it to know what was on my desk. It's condensation, I'm sure, from my coffee. Oh, it was probably whipped cream. Like melted whipped cream. Because yes, I put whipped cream on my coffee. Are you judging me? You shouldn't be. Like, so what? I'm having a fun time and I'm putting whipped cream on my coffee. Are you gonna judge me for that? You shouldn't. You shouldn't. Are both my cats in my room right now? They are. Okay, good. I accidentally left. So there's a door to the downstairs of my house. My house is very weird, like layout wise. You guys will see that if you guys go over to my vlogging channel and if you watch the renovation vlogs that are coming out relatively soon. You'll see it's a weirdly laid out house. It's because it's an old house and it was built not how it is now. Like, the upstairs was all there was, and then there was a carport underneath the upstairs. And then they moved the kitchen and living room downstairs. They built a whole downstairs. And so now it's like kind of weird. Like they like, there's a room over there. I'm pointing like behind where I am. There's a room on the other side of that wall that used to be a patio, like a balcony, that is now a room, like a sunroom. That over there is the guest room. That used to be a kitchen. Do you see what I'm talking about when I say this house is really weird? Like, there's a door. No, there's not a door. Yeah, there's a door to downstairs because it was the front door. Way back when, it was the front door. And so it's like a front door leading to the stairwell in the kitchen. But it actually kind of worked out because I can shut that door and lock it at night, which makes me feel safe because I can have like a double lock. You know, I have like the downstairs locked and then I have my stair door locked. And also, it's like a deadbolt. And also, my cats, I don't have to worry about them going downstairs at night and getting into things that they shouldn't because of the door being there. Like, I can just shut it. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the podcast. If you want the after show, the extra 50 minutes of content, feel free to check out my Patreon, link down in the description. But if not, I'll see you guys in the next episode. This video will probably be going up relatively soon, like this episode, because it's like a kind of a trial episode. It's kind of like an introduction episode. And then the like next episode, and then every episode from there on until we see how the podcast does will be on the 5th at noon EST every month. So that's that. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments below what annoys you about podcasts and what you guys think I should talk about in the future. Okay? Okay. Guests I should have on. Companies that should sponsor me. I'll like reach out to them. If you guys are like, hey, this is like a queer company that might want to be on the podcast as a sponsor, and like I'm like the relative right size for it, like let me know. Okay? Let me know. Because genuinely that is something that I'm like, I would love to work with like a queer company because it is the Goodbye Darling podcast. I'm your resident nerdy yapping bisexual. That is I. We talk about creativity, we talk about writing, we talk about LGBTQIA plus issues, we talk about content creation. Did I already say that? I don't know. But anyways, I'm stalling. But I need to go. I have 13% on my camera. I'll see you guys in future episodes of the podcast. And yeah, I hope you guys like this podcast because I'm like really excited for it. I'm like really excited for it. So I hope you guys like it and it's received well, and that you guys share this. Please share this with people you think would like it. Not to be desperate. Oh my god, I'm not desperate. Don't share it, actually. Share it if you want, I guess. I just really want this to do well. But I don't want to be desperate. I don't want to be like, please let it do well. Like, if it doesn't do, like, phenomenal, that's fine. But I want it to. Anyways. Goodbye, darling.
Hey man,